Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Satyarthi to the stage with a warm round of applause.
Your Excellency, Secretary General, Director General UNESCO, heads of various UN agencies, Your Highness Sheikh Hamoza, Excellencies, sisters and brothers. No other place could be better than South Korea to organize such an event on education. Because we have proven that how education could be transformed into prosperity, development, and the global citizenship responsibility. Thanks for that. Many of us were present in Dakar 15 years ago. And we went with a resolve and a framework of action which was achievable. Now we come here again with mixed feelings. For me as an activist and a Nobel laureate, I feel much more morally pressurized and concerned. There is a reason to be happy, definitely. When I was coming from Delhi yesterday, I was talking to a young girl. She was born exactly in 2000 in a very poor family in a West Indian state of Rajasthan. She had a chance to go to school. She is a brilliant student, but she realized that her parents are preparing for her marriage, early marriage, some years ago. She refused. She stopped her sister's marriage and all the marriages in her village. And yesterday, on telephone, she was telling me that when you go there, tell that education has given her courage to think that the girls are much more than child brides. That was possible through free public education in my country. I meet many children all across the world who wanted to touch the sky because they are now in schools. But all of them are not so fortunate. I met recently another 15-year-old child mother who was a street child and domestic child laborer in Latin America. And when my local organization withdrew her from that, and I was encouraging her to go to school, she said, "Sorry, it's too late." I was in West Africa talking to a child who was also born in the same year, 2000. He was working as a farm laborer. I asked him to go to school, and he answered, "It's too late for me." Dear friends, it's too late for 58 million children. And I represent their voices. I represent their dreams here. And that's why I refuse to accept any excuse that why we have not been able to bring all these children to school in all those 15 years. Friends, we must know who are these children. It is not just number. Each one of them has a name, has a face. We may say that they are child laborers. 168 million children are working, trapped into child labor. And out of them, 85 million are in the worst forms of child labor. The children with different abilities, disabled children, HIV and AIDS orphans, children in conflict areas, they are those children. We hardly try to identify each one of them and try hard to bring them to school. We all know that when one door of a classroom opens for a girl or a boy, millions of doors of opportunities opens for her. We all know that no other powerful tool than the education to break the shackles of human slavery. We also know that when a girl picks up a pencil and started writing down, the power of millions of guns get weakens. Those who know the power of education, us, we were not able to do what we were supposed to. But others, a handful of people who understood the power of education, they are trying to attack it, as Secretary General mentioned, in Pakistan, in Syria, in Nigeria, because they are threatened by education. But I would like to send this message. The message must go from this hall, that they may kill a few innocent children, but nobody can ever kill the books, nobody can ever kill the pencils, nobody can ever kill the education. Education is a power which will shape and change the world, a better world for our children. Friends, there are many challenges which education has to address. May it be inequalities, may it be ecological issues, global warming, may it be fundamentalist, growing fundamentalist, fundamentalism. But how we can address these problems? I would think that the most important thing is a genuine, strong political will right from the bottom to up, at local level, at national level, at international level. There should be more effective, rather proactive, and strong cooperation and coordination between various UN agencies. Should not be just once in a while, but it should be very regular at the top level. We have to devise the way, because education is in crisis. It is under attack. We also understand that education ministries are doing very good work in most of the countries, but they have their own limitations. How they can coordinate and collaborate with the ministries of health, ministries of labor, ministries of child and women development, ministries of finance, more importantly. Then we can bring a holistic solution to the problems and a more collective effort at national level. In education planning and strategies at every level, we cannot compartmentalize, or we must not compartmentalize quality, inclusion, and equity. Sometimes we achieve quality in certain sections, but inclusion is not there, equity is not there. So equity, inclusion, and quality have to go hand in hand. It should not remain just a guiding principles on paper. How to practice it on the ground is a big challenge, and we have to live with that and challenge it. And finally, the financing issue. It has been repeatedly told, need not to say that. At least 6% of GNP, at least 20% of budget, at least 10% of ODA must go for education. That should not be the higher limit, but it should be the benchmark, minimum benchmark. When we go from here and we are talking for 2 more days, we have to resolve it. We have to think out of the box also. Beside the development budgets, why can't we think of the humanitarian budget for education in emergencies? Humanitarian aid for emergencies. When we talk and believe that education is the biggest defense, why can't we think of defense aid for education? Let us take out some money from the defense budgets, and the country should spend money on education from the defense budgets. We all know that education brings prosperity and economic growth. So why can't we take out a certain amount of corporate social responsibility budgets for education funding, education, public financing for education? It is not, I'm not talking about that they do on their own as the education programming as the private sector, but the private sector should spend more money for public spending or public financing, public education. And dear friends, listening to all of you this morning and afternoon and now, and valuing your passion for education, I am quite confident. And therefore, I refuse to accept that all this collective leadership, all this passion, all this experience, all this leadership, which is present here, is not capable to bring all children to school. I refuse to accept. We are capable and we can do it. We are meeting for the third time here, and I hope that when we go back from here in 3 days' time, we go with strongest possible resolve. Personally, institutionally, collectively, what could be done? And when we meet next time, I am sure, and I call upon you, that we should not meet to discuss that how we are going to impart education for rest of the left out people and children. We must meet next time to celebrate our victory that we are the people who are the first generation to make the education as history. So let us come to celebrate making illiteracy a history and celebrate our victory in the future. We can do it. We will do it. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Satyarthi, for that very passionate and inspiring speech.